p.m. and these are the headlines. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, chairs a meeting of the Council of Ministers devoted to a bill on civil status and included presentations relating to several sectors. Expansion and modernization projects are being carried out, touching several sections in the Trans-Sahara Road, a way to strengthen Algeria's trade activities in Africa. In Palestine, the death toll keeps rising while the genocide is still occurring. The Nusayrat camp and Rafah city are targeted. Right, welcome back, everyone. First of all, the President of the Republic, Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, Minister of National Defense, Abdelmajid Tebboune, chaired today a meeting of the Council of Ministers devoted to a bill related to civil status and presentations related to several sectors. These include the status of medical and paramedical staff, the financing of startups, and monitoring the implementation of the new Algerian Media City project. Rania Al-Bahri with a statement released by the Presidency of the Republic.
The opening of the meeting by the President of the Republic and the listening to the agenda presented by the Prime Minister about the government's activity during the last 2 weeks. The President of the Republic issued a number of orders and directives where he ordered to re-examine the bill relating to the civil status, being a database which must be modern and sustainable and which must be managed by elected officials, being the representatives of the people. The President of the Republic instructed the Minister of Justice to involve magistrates and governors in enriching the bill. President Tebboune welcomed the progress made in the digitalization process, particularly with regard to the connectivity with all government sectors. The head of state underlined the leading role of the medical and paramedical profession in guaranteeing national health security, which requires paying them particular attention in terms of social security, retirement, and the adaptation of incentive bonuses to their areas of activity. President Tebboune gave his approval for the revision of retirement pensions, all categories combined, taking into account the evolution of the standard of living and financial capacities of the state to preserve the social security of this French in recognition of their contribution to the service of the country. He instructed the government to carefully study this file to determine the level of increases, which will be approved progressively during the next Council of Ministers. He also instructed the government to find new additional funding methods for the National Pension Fund so that these increases are in line with the evolution of the national economy. The head of state confirmed the continued commitment of the state to finance and support startups which have experienced considerable development in recent years. With the participation of private sector in this process, he stressed that the next step will consist of favoring quality rather than quantity, because the startup sector represents the economy of knowledge and intelligence aimed at achieving economic efficiency. The president insisted on the fact that the financing of these companies should target young people and take into account the quality of innovative projects. Finally, the Council of Ministers approved the granting of an international tender permit to monitor, build and equip the new Zaire Media City, emphasizing the need to involve national companies in the realization of this project.
The expansion and modernization works in the road section between Al-Mni'a and Ngizam are progressing. This strategic and economic road is considered as an open door to Africa. More details with Abdelaziz Alim and Yasir Hamdi.
Over a 1,500-kilometer distance between Al-Mni'a and the border town of Ngizam. The Trans-Sahara Road is being modernized in several road sections, including 143 kilometers in the south of Al-Mni'a province and 160 kilometers northern in Salah province, an important project for its economic aspects.
تم رصد مبالغ بقيمة 5.7 مليار دينار.
5.7 billion dinars will be spent on the modernization of a 115-kilometer road section. Public and private Algerian companies are carrying out these works.
وطنية عمومية وخاصة.
The expansion and modernization projects include also Tamanrasset, over 170 kilometers from the south of the province to the borders of Ingezan province, and are carried out by 100% local scales.
بالنسبة لعدد المشاريع فهي تفوق 15 مشروع.
There are 15 projects, 2 of them for engineering works and the 13 remaining for the modernization of the road.
وفيها 13 مشروع بالنسبة لعصرنة الطريق.
لدينا متابعة للمشروع.
We closely monitor the project of the National Road number 1. We take samples and we send them to the laboratory of analysis.
التحاليل المخبرية.
هو شريان يعني مهم جدا.
It's a very important road section crossed monthly by 700 free trade tracks and 300 exchange tracks. It opens the way to the whole continent.
The Trans-Sahara Road, going from Algiers to Ingezam, that connects 5 African countries, is achieved till Gardaya province, while waiting for the completion of what remains.
In the framework of improving the services, all conducive conditions are provided to the citizens, especially with regard to land transportation. In Adrar province, the land station for transporting passengers was rehabilitated and 35 new buses were added, in addition to arrangements made specially to guarantee the pilgrims' comfort on their way to Mecca.
The Tuat Sheikh Sidi Mohammed Belkbir Airport is of a great significance in the southern west, and that is in line with the economic development witnessed in the region. The number of its flights last year reached more than 5,000 flights. In the face of this increase, it was keen to improve the service provided to the citizens by providing all the necessary facilities, as well as reducing the waiting time during the takeoff and the arrival procedures, especially with the upcoming Hajj season, with the hope of programming additional flights.
كان حركة كبيرة خاصة.
The airport is receiving large numbers of passengers, especially businessmen and patients. Everything needed is provided. About the new flights added, I hope it would be on a larger plane.
نتمنى تكون رحلات أكبر بطائرات كبيرة.
Land transportation is unimaginably important in Adrar province. Therefore, diligent efforts are being made to take care of all the shortcomings and the concerns of the sector, both in terms of equipment and structures, to meet the needs of the citizens.
The buses are 12 years old. We hope the authority solves the issues we face so that we can be at the citizens' service in better conditions.
السيد الوزير يدعمنا بشويه الماتريال الجديد لا غنى اصليا باش نجموا نتكفلوا بالمواطنين.
ظروف مليحه جد جيده. الوقت الساعه اللي نبغي يقلع فيها الكان.
The buses are available and on time. I'm heading from Adrar to Bashar, where I see that all is going well.
زعما جد ايجابيه مليحه.
في 2025
In 2025, we will use this station for rehabilitation and make it as perfect as possible for the citizens.
بمواطنينا.
Adding to that, Adrar province got also supported by the logistics platform of the National Land Transport Company, which has the necessary equipment and facilities.
Abroad and in the occupied Palestinian territories, the Zionist aggression against the Gaza Strip continues. The 7th month is marked with the new massacres of the ongoing genocide against innocent civilians. Warning, this following report of Man al-Ma'afa includes distressing images.
On the 98th day of the Zionist aggression against the Gaza Strip, the occupation forces launched airstrikes early in the morning, targeting numerous homes in the city of Rafah. This resulted in the martyrdom and injury of dozens of Palestinians. Others were also killed and injured in the Zionist forces' shelling of buildings adjacent to the shelters of the displaced persons in the Al-Mawasi area west of Khan Yunis and the Shabura camp, and also agricultural lands near the entrance street to the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital in Deir al-Balah in central Gaza. Palestinian civil defense crews retrieved 180 bodies from a mass grave inside the Nasser medical complex in Gaza's Khan Yunis. At least 18 children were among those killed in a series of Zionist attacks, with dozens of Palestinians killed overnight. Residential and agricultural areas were widely hit with heavy artillery, sparing nobody. The Palestinian Ministry of Health condemned the deliberate assassination of an ambulance driver while he was carrying out his humanitarian duties in transporting the wounded in the northern West Bank. And more than a dozen Palestinians were killed during a brutal 3-day raid on the Nur Shams refugee camp, leaving the occupied West Bank city of Tulkarem in ruins. As a result, a general strike was observed in all Palestinian governorates, condemning the heinous massacre committed by the Zionist occupation forces. Meanwhile, 7 Palestinians were martyred and others were injured as a result of the Zionist shelling of a house west of the Nusayrat refugee camp in the central of Gaza Strip. Our national television documented the moment of the birth of a baby from the womb of a martyr's mother. At least 48 people have been killed across Gaza in the past day, bringing the total number of Palestinians killed to more than 34,000, including more than 14,000 children.
Within the framework of strengthening humanitarian action, the central warehouse of the Algerian Red Crescent in Blida province has received today 100,000 units of medicine provided by a company specialized in the field of manufacturing and producing medicines. Operation supervised by the head of the Algerian Red Crescent, Ibtisam Hawlabi, who stressed that this aid is destined to the Sahrawi refugee camps. To the July 5 Olympic Stadium, where a football game was scheduled between USM Algiers and RS Berkane. This first leg of the CAF Confederation Cup semi-final didn't take place, as the Berkane team withdrew and did not enter the field. The guest team insists on transgressing sports ethics by insisting on playing in T-shirts with political slogans in it, and which are not recognized by international sports bodies. This happened despite the Algerian Football Federation's willingness to provide all the conditions for the success of this continental football game. Since the arrival of the Berkane team to Algeria, it has also prepared new T-shirts instead of those with political slogans that offend sports and football in Africa. It is indeed another provocation from the Moroccan authorities, but this time by using sports. As we've mentioned, the RS Berkane Football Club players arrived to Algiers wearing controversial jerseys in contradiction with all the football laws. They were also supposed to face USM Algiers tonight. Yasin Hamdi.
What should have been a simple football game governed by laws of the African Football Confederation and FIFA became a ridiculous and provocative scenario made by the RS Berkane club that was supposed to face the USM Algiers, the reigning champion of the African Confederation Cup. The Moroccan team arrived at Algiers by a direct flight and was well welcomed by all the Algerians. After failing politically and diplomatically, the Moroccans used a childish ploy ordered by the Makhzen to use a football game for political purposes by displaying on their jersey an imaginary map of a country that is not recognized neither by the African Confederation nor FIFA, and above all, not by the United Nations. A map not recognized by the sovereign and host country Algeria. As usually, the Moroccan media have spread fake news and expressed their hatred towards Algeria, but couldn't do more as the law is clear. The Article 4, Paragraph 5 of the African Confederation states that the jersey must never display any political, religious or personal slogan, image and inscription. If so, the team will be punished.
On the occasion of the Heritage Month, the mountain Tamsgida and the Lake of Daya in Dia province are being enlivened by the traditional music and exhibitions. This event is initiated by the National Museum of Popular Arts and Traditions. Coverage by Nasir Ahmed, commentary by Najah Tayar.
In Mdia province and at an altitude of 1,200 meters, Tamsgida Mount offers a breathtaking scenery, and on the shores of Daya Lake, also called the Hanging Garden, being the highest lake in Algeria with 1,170 meters above the sea level. Culture and heritage are exhibited celebrating the Heritage Month.
We have come from Algiers to visit Daya Lake. We have heard a lot about this place, and I think it's very beautiful, especially as our visit coincides with Heritage Month. It is a special day. We have come with our children to see Fantasia and to introduce them to our heritage.
Carpets are on display, as well as traditional dishes lovingly prepared by the women who are the guardians of tradition. Algerian folklore also performed by Fantasia and El Isawi troops who were present to enliven the event.
These are our traditions since the time of Emir Abdel Qadir. We continue them and we want to pass them on to our children.
The choice of the Daya region, which is a tourist area par excellence to host this event, is not a coincidence. Our aim is to show the rich heritage that Miria province has. Temesgida Mountain and a Daya Lake, a pure wonder of nature that mesmerizes the tourists seeking to refresh their lungs and their minds.
All right, that was it for today's news. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.